Joining us now to discuss the influx of illegals, a guy who is quite outspoken on the subject. Heck, he's outspoken on many subjects, come to think of it. The talk show host at WRKO Radio in Boston and the columnist for the Boston Herald, Howie Carr. Howie joins us by Skype today. And Howie, as always, we welcome you to America's Forum.
Thank you, JD. I appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Howie, the last time we got together, we spoke a little bit about this, but perhaps it bears amplification. First of all, the group being described as, quote, unaccompanied children. How the perception from coverage around the world is like these are toddlers or little kids or maybe babes in arms. But the information about this is very different.
Sorry about the dogs, by the way, Jay.
Well, it adds.
It's the dog days of summer.
Yeah, that's right, dog days.
You like that?
Out there.
Well, it adds a domestic touch, Howie.
80% of the unaccompanied children, so to speak,
they're very vocal about
actually male teenagers between 14 and 18 years of age. Now, that's not exactly what I would call unaccompanied children. I'm afraid these unaccompanied children are going to get into trouble and gangs rapidly. And as you've seen the pictures of them, JD, they've already coming in, a lot of them with tattoos all over their necks. You know, they already appear to have gang affiliations. Now they say there are Chinese people that are being brought in that we're going to need to take care of. This is just a complete disaster, and the fact that Obama is now saying that he needs money for this humanitarian crisis is rather ironic. He created this humanitarian crisis down there.
Yeah, let's go back to that, because let's talk about that law. That was in 2007. They were basically, not 2007, but the law goes back to where kids prior to 2007. Go back to that a little bit. That were allowed to, wouldn't be deported automatically.
Right. Well, the problem here, Miranda, is that his story doesn't hold up, because we've all seen the pictures now, the classified ads on the federal employment wanted websites saying that they're seeking quote unquote escorts for these unaccompanied children. This goes back 6 months. So they very well knew that this was going to happen. I mean, he can't get amnesty through the Congress for the obvious reasons that most people don't want it. They're not just Republicans, but Democrats as well. So this is de facto amnesty that we've got going on here, and none of the Democrats will speak out against it, except for, ironically enough, Hillary Clinton. I mean, she's taken a tougher stand on this than any of the Republican candidates for president.
But is she opening up her doors, Carr?
Well,
because actually in your column we should state that what you know the title of your column, you say Democrats open borders but not their doors. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Right. Well, I just meant that none of these people, like Nancy Pelosi that went down there over the weekend, I mean, none of them are saying, well, you know, can I take a few dozen of these kids, quote unquote kids, back to San Francisco with me? For instance, our governor here in Massachusetts, Deval Patrick, he has a 77-acre estate in the Berkshire Mountains. Beautiful, beautiful place. He could take in thousands of these kids, and yet, you know what, don't hear a peep out of him. John Kerry, the Secretary of State, our former senator, he has real estate in Massachusetts worth $16 million. He has a boat he could put up a lot of people on. It's worth $8 million. Nobody, as far as I can see, has stepped forward. JD, I know you used to be a member of Congress. I'm sure you were amused this weekend. They say there's no bipartisanship in Congress. Boy, when they tried to send in a bunch of these unaccompanied children to Long Island, Steve Israel, the Democrat, and Pete King, the Republican, it was like they were joined at the hips. They were putting out joint press releases to fight this thing.
And you mentioned something that the canine chorus is weighing in on, Howie, and it's the curious paradox. You just mentioned what went on with Steve Israel and Pete King about a dump of the illegals in Long Island. You mentioned Hillary Clinton, people taking a look toward 2016. They're seeing the poll numbers. The American people don't want to see this influx of illegals, no matter their age. So why aren't Republicans awakening to this?
Oh boy, you know, again, JD, this is the $64 question. I mean, are they afraid? I mean, if Hillary Clinton can say we can't have these unaccompanied children dumped in our cities, then I'm sure the Republicans could do it as well. But I think they are. They're afraid of being called xenophobes, nativists. You know all the words, JD. They've called you the words. They've called me the words, you know. But, you know, again, the polling, the national polling indicates that there is absolutely no support for this, you know, in whatever demographic community you want to ask.
Howie, you mentioned Hillary Clinton. Let's switch gears for a moment. The Baltimore Sun released a new article saying that Elizabeth Warren is the Barack Obama of 2016.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
I've seen that several places, Miranda, and I tend to agree. You know, just as Barack Obama in 2008 ran to the left of Hillary and just sort of pinned her as the establishment candidate, I think Elizabeth Warren is capable of doing the exact same thing to Hillary in 2016. You know, if I had to bet, whether or not Hillary runs or not, I think if Elizabeth Warren got into the primaries against Hillary, she would crush her handily. The Democrat base, as it's constructed now, just really goes for this Elizabeth Warren rhetoric, and the fact that the rhetoric is not in the least connected to her own personal life has apparently no impact whatsoever.
You mean any resemblance with real life is purely coincidental, huh, Howie? Hey, listen, we're gonna have to leave it there, pal. Howie Carr and his canine corps checking in from New England. There's more ahead on America's Forum.